to describe Steve Wyche, I'm going to cheat. First word's going to be bison, because, you know, we're Howard University, we're going to do that. But I'm going to say classy. He carries himself in class in front of the camera and also off the camera, which you don't often see in the world of professional journalism. So Steve Wyche, classy.
I just think he's classy. I think everything he does, he just does it in a very professional manner. And I just think the way he carries himself, you know, every time you see him, he's just very professional and just very well spoken and just represents Howard and the MEAC and the HBCUs. And so it's just glad to have him part of this class.
Well, I'm absolutely humbled because you've got so many great players, you know, guys I covered, like Nick Collins, like Eddie Robinson Jr., who've been coaches now on the HBCU level. You know, Tyrone Poole, Super Bowl champion, Rudy Hubbard, you know, who's the only black college national champion. And then you got Jimmy Smith. I mean, one of the best wide receivers ever in the NFL and at the level of Jackson State. And for me to go in as a contributor with this group, but especially the contributor category now that we just lost Charlie Neal, you know, it's just amazing kind of going in and the timing and everything. So I'm absolutely humbled and absolutely flattered, and I'm really excited.
And if you had one word to describe sort of your journey, especially on the HBCU, the HBCU sports level, what would it be and why?
Responsible. Because I view myself as a caretaker of the culture, a caretaker of HBCUs, and a caretaker of educating those who may not know about those whom they should know.
He's gone through so many peaks and valleys, but he yet remains the epitome of excellence. And maybe that's the phrase, the epitome of excellence, because whatever he does it with so much class and so much knowledge and so much passion. Steve is the man.
You know what? Thinking about it, just can't describe Steve in one word, right? So, an innovator, a true friend, trailblazer, hard worker, genuine. And the reason why I say that is because when we're here in Atlanta, Black College Hall of Fame, but what he does for the Black College Hall of Fame, what he does for the Legacy Bowl, obviously him working with the NFL Network, Legacy Bowl being viewed, being showed on NFL Network, he helps push this thing forward. And I'm glad that, you know, Steve is entering the Black College Hall of Fame as a contributor and just a great guy, and always, you know, he's a bison.
This is something that I loved seeing, the fact that, you know, you're finally getting rewarded for all of the great things that you've done for HBCU sports. But just talk about, where does being inducted into the Black College Football Hall of Fame rank for you amongst all of the accomplishments that you've made?
Number one. I mean, at the top.
I love it.
I mean, it really does, because, you know, graduating from an HBCU, graduating from Howard University, and everywhere I go, first off, at Howard we're arrogant, so we tell everybody we're from Howard.
Absolutely.
But just the fact that it's HBCU this, it's all one family. And then when I get, you know, the platforms that I've had at the Miami Herald and Washington Post and Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and NFL Network, it's keeping that alive. It's chipping away at the industry itself, the media industry, like recognize the HBCUs, recognize its coaches, recognize its players, and understanding the platform that I have, where I can try to bully some of that recognition, finesse some of that recognition, but as long as that recognition is there, it means everything to me. And for someone to be wise or unwise enough to humbly say you belong in the Black College Football Hall of Fame with some of the foundational pillars, it means a lot, especially because I'm going in as a contributor. And you know, my dear friend Charlie Neal just passed. Look at Roscoe Nance and Bill Nunn and some of the great contributors who've done what I do in journalism. To be with them means everything, number one.
I do.
And finally, contributor category from Howard University. Amen. HBCU advocate and champion of Black College football. Born July 9, 1966 in St. Louis, Steve Wyche has built a distinguished career amplifying the stories, culture, and impact of historically Black colleges and universities. A proud graduate of of Howard University in 1989.
Who inspired you from Howard University?
From Howard University? Oh my gosh, I mean, it had to be my peer group. You have to understand, when I was at Howard, Frederica Whitfield, who's at CNN, was like a year or two ahead of me. Stan Verrett, who was at ESPN, Michelle Miller, who's at CBS, and me were all in the same class. Gus Johnson was a year or two behind us. We were all in one cluster, and I was the one print major through all of that. But the way we kind of competed, and my fellow print journalists, Suzanne Alexander and Rachel Swarns, and all really notable print journalists, that was the biggest difference from going from University of Missouri to Howard, was the pure accountability, that level of standard, and then our professors, and you know this, the professors at Howard are real, and if they recognize you, they are going to push the industry to find you. Guys like Ray Boone, the late Ray Boone, who I consider the greatest teacher I've ever had, taking me to USA Today, taking me here. And so that the inspiration was pure accountability like I had never had before in my life.
Steve Wyche, Black College Football Hall of Fame, class of 2026. And presenting Steve his Hall of Fame jacket, his fellow Hall of Famer, also from Howard, Antoine Bethea. Steve, any words for people that are important to you about tonight?
Yeah, first and foremost, my wife Deanne. Thursday was 33 years. How about that? Just people like you, right? Character, integrity. I look at these banners behind me. Everyone in the class of 2026 is a great man, right? So to be able to go in with a guy like Nick Collins, who's in the Packers Ring of Honor, think about that, right? Eddie Robinson Jr., Jimmy Smith, Coach Woody Hubbard. It's weird because, you know, I do the door knocks in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and I see the emotion of people who get honored. And now I'm being honored, I feel like I'm devaluing the property. You know, so, but to sit up here with you, we do this every year, Charles. You lead the way when you think about the great black journalists who uphold HBCUs, Charlie Neal, Brian Burwell, contributors here at the Hall, Roscoe Nance, Bill Nunn, to be in kind of that small segmented part of that part of the Hall, the guys who didn't take the field at HBCU, it's very, very special.
You're up here, we're going to talk about journalism, right? We're going to talk about your career as a writer, a reporter, an analyst, all those other things that you've done. Let us not forget, you were a player. All right, you went to Missouri initially to play football. Before you transferred to Howard, was the journalism calling you? Was the capstone calling you? What was it that led you back there? Because obviously we've seen it play out throughout your life.
Yeah, this is a great story because like my whole life in high school and youth league, I was a quarterback. Get hurt my junior year. Coach is like, we got to have you on the field, but you can't throw because you're on your shoulder. Put me at defensive end, outside linebacker, and that was the great career move. I know a lot of black college athletes that switched positions. It did go well, it didn't go well. That was a good position switch for me. Went to the University of Missouri. Coach gets fired after my redshirt year. Wasn't good enough to play my second year. And so my mother, who was a Hampton Institute, Sashi, Hampton Institute graduate, why don't you go to a black school? Why don't you go to a black school? Because I was never recruited by an HBCU. When you're west of the Mississippi back then, HBCUs were, they didn't come to you. And so I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to send some stuff to Willie Jeffries, who had recruited me when he was at Wichita State, was coaching at Howard, and to Hampton. Coach Jeff got on the phone right away, back and forth cell phones. Steve, come out here and play. But between then, that call, by the time I got to campus, I lost my stinger, Charles. You know what that means?
Oh, absolutely. All of us who are athletes understand.
Yeah,
at some point the stinger goes away.
Yeah, I lost the stinger, decided, since I wasn't good at math, I might as well write. read and write. So that's how the journalism bug got going. And so that's where it went. Had great teachers there. I had great peer accountability, right?
What young people have to understand about this business is it is changing by the daily, right? You can no longer be a single course journalist. You can't just be a writer. You can't just be a host. You can't just be a reporter. You can't just be an analyst. In some way, shape, or form, you've got to blend them because more and more big companies are buying companies under them. The market is saturated with talent. You've also got to find a way to create your own identity, but do it with credibility because the people who are not credible are flaming out like it's nobody's business.
Where did that come from, Steve Wyche, that doesn't allow you to sit a play out and to talk about, because you've hit all the heights, man. You've done it, you've broken the stories, but you can very easily not do what you're doing in terms of HBCUs and telling that story, yet you are each and every day.
Look, there's a lot of people in life, we all know them, who are convenient this and that. Well, I'm a convenient HBCU grad. When you say you went to an HBCU when it's convenient, but if you live it, right, if you understand, again, it made me, right? There's a lot of people, again, who rely on, I'm convenient this, convenient that, when you're in the right crowd or in the right room. I don't care if I'm in the middle and I'm the only one, because trust me, I grew up as the only one. There's a lot of stuff I went through growing up, in St. Louis and whatnot, where I was the only one, so I don't care. The HBCU, I got no tats on my body, but it's branded in my soul. And so, it's just part of it. And then I see people like Antoine Lefebvre, right? First phone call I made when I realized you're changing. And Jay Walker, the first two Howard graduates that I got to sit in that chair and interview here. Those dudes, man, they inspire me, right? And so, I just want to keep that going. You know me. It is never about being convenient when it comes to representing who and what I stand for.
When you look back at Howard University, what did it teach you about the identity that shows up in your work today?
That it was about so many others before I got there. I mean, I'm not just saying that to be hyperbolic or to hit a cliche. I mean, again, I grew up where there are no HBCUs, right? There's only 2 HBCUs west of the Mississippi River. So there's very little conversation other than from my household about black colleges. So I get on this campus, I'm like, oh, I'm a suburban kid, am I gonna be black enough to fit in? Clearly found my peer group, clearly found the people to push me. And so just, the whole experience of, as black people, as a culture, we are so multi-dimensional. And you see it all there in front of you. You're going to kids who went to predominantly black high schools in Alaska, right? You're going to school, kids, black kids from Germany. Yeah. And it's like, wow, I'm absorbing all of this. And when I was at Howard, that's when DC was buck wild now. That was a murder capital, the crack capital. Like it was, so you're learning survival instincts, campus instincts,
learning
competitive. You were learning it all. So I would tell you this, Howard made me a man.
This is an honor for us to be up here to help represent everyone else and to welcome in the new class and to be around all of you people who inspire all of us. And we know we get better when we spend that time with you. And I just want to conclude with, as we welcome Steve into the class of 2026, you're the man I want to be, each and every day. You inspire me by who you are, what you do, how you conduct yourself, how you treat people, the respect people give you. I wake up every day and say, if I could be like Steve Wyche, I'll be all right. I love you, I'm proud of you, and it's an honor to share this dais with you each and every year. And congratulations, because you deserve this. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Wyche, Hall of Famer.